Welcome everyone to another JDM racing video. We're here for round 17 in Singapore for the Singapore Grand Prix, and we are going to see how we fare in qualifying as the guys are working on the car there, and we'll get straight into Q1 right now. So coming up to conclude the quali lap, the fast lap towards the end of Q1, the car felt really off. I couldn't get the balance right. The car was just it didn't feel good on the curbs at all, and I didn't feel like this was going to be a good lap. We'll see as we cross the line.
Less than one lap of fuel left now. The tank's pretty much empty.
So it was 10th as we crossed the line, ended up being 14th. Not a fantastic lap. We were lucky to get through, to be honest. Piastri nowhere once again, as we expect from him. Coming into Q2, I decided to try and dial out a little bit of the understeer that I was getting in Q1 and put a little bit more front wing in, and that seemed to really help. Because the transformation in the car was just dramatic, and all of a sudden the car just gripped and it felt like it turned in when I wanted it to, and as we will cross the line, it's a much more competitive lap, so we'll see how that fares. Well, it ended up being not bad at all, actually. 2 tenths off fastest driver for Charles Leclerc in that Ferrari. So that puts us in good stead going into Q3. Hopefully we can get a decent place on the grid for Sunday. So joining the JDM cockpit in Q3, this was the second fastest lap run that we did. The first one was more of a banker really, and as you can see in the top right, we managed to lay down a much quicker time across the splits in this second lap, and take a big chunk of curb there. It felt a lot better on this second run, so I'm hoping this will get us closer to the top 5 than the bottom 5 in the top 10. So all in all we end up 7th, and can't quite match the top 6 there. It was frustrating being so close to Leclerc and the top guys in the previous sessions, but we'll make do with 7th. It's not a bad place to start from for Sunday.
Here we go then, it's Formula 1 in Marina Bay once again, and welcome to you all at home who join us today for this fascinating race around the baking hot but beautiful streets of Singapore. We have a high risk of a safety car here today, I think, as the abundance of tight corners mixed with these wet conditions could put a few cars off and into the barriers. 23 turns then, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, make up the 3.1 mile lap of Marina Bay. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Norris, Sergio Perez and Sainz, Gardner, Russell, Ricciardo and Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Sebastian Vettel and Bottas, Albon, Magnussen, Pierre Gasly and Guan Yu Zhou, Tsunoda, Stroll, Oscar Piastri and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And joining me again for the race today, Natalie Pinkham. Let's have a chat about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Right then, the formation lap has started. And I must say, the weather conditions aren't the best today for visibility and for grip. As each driver performs this lap, they'll be wanting to settle in and concentrate, as this race, in these conditions, will require a lot of focus.
So, starting from 7th place on the grid, we are going to be really trying not to put it in the wall in these kind of conditions. The intermediates were working okay during practice, but I'm still not sure that we've got the car under us on longer stints to really be throwing it 110%. So we're going to try and keep George Russell behind and try and make a move on the guys in front, but really same old story. We're just going to get into our groove and then try and move forwards after getting the rhythm going. Piastri, just do what you can from the back. Off we go then. Russell has already jumped us, and the McLaren of Ricciardo and Alonso. We're going to dive bomb back into turn 1. I don't think there was a touch. So we stay ahead of Alonso. We do drop behind Ricciardo. Wondered if there was a spinner back there. There was not. Replay of the start then for this Singapore Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton on pole on your left. Charles Leclerc second on the front row on your right. And it looks like Leclerc's got up the inside of Hamilton into turn 1. The Ferrari is going to switch back, hang him out round the outside in these semi-wet conditions, and Hamilton's going to fight him the whole way though. Leclerc desperately wants that lead, and he's got it now. Leclerc wanted to lead and get away from those Red Bulls because he wants to get on and win this race and take the fight to the team from Milton Keynes and Max Verstappen, who is on form at the moment. So Leclerc from Hamilton, from Verstappen, and then Perez. Going to try and make a move on Daniel Ricciardo, which we do. So up to 8th.
Alright, let's focus now for the rest of the race.
Trying to go down the outside of Russell. Could not.
Strategy available on the MFD. Got that, confirmed.
So the team reckons now is the time to change. Still looks pretty damp, but
Probably about time we change tyres. It's a bit of a crossover period for sure, but the longer we stay, the worse it's going to get.
dry seems to be what they reckon. Charles Leclerc then, still leading. Pulled out a little bit of a gap on Hamilton now. And with conditions drying up, the teams are calling for pit stops, and it looks like everybody's coming in now to switch onto dry tyres. So pretty much the whole pit lane is going to be awash with cars. Leclerc pits from the lead. Medium compounds going on. So that should see him through to the end. He gets held behind the McLaren. But he does get out. Back in the lead. And it looks like Max Verstappen has worked his way through. So problem with the Mercedes pit stop maybe Hamilton not following Leclerc out in second place as he did when he went into the pit lane. So something's gone on there. And Leclerc will resume. So this was Hamilton's pit stop. Pulled in. Fitted medium compounds as well, and then just got caught. Could not pull out. And got held. So George Russell as well with the double stacks. That's ruined Mercedes' race, strategy, pretty much everything. And Hamilton stuck behind Lando Norris now. So a nightmare for Mercedes in those pit stops. A second place pretty much gone. Hamilton is now going to have to pass the McLaren of Lando Norris on track. And he's got Verstappen in front of him as well. And looks like everybody else is pitting as well. Oh, Russell double stacking with Hamilton. Oh, wow. There's a whole bunch of people in here. We get held behind the Ferrari. But we come out in front of Perez.
Look after these tyres now and we'll finish the race in this compound.
Interesting. Whoa, massive oversteer on the exit of the pit there. Gonna need to warm these bad boys up. DRS not available yet. It will be soon. I can feel the tyres not wanting to grip. And Perez is right on us. As you would expect. Oh! He comes right down the outside. Or the inside, I should have said. I'm hoping we should be alright once these tyres heat up. DRS is now active, as we said.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
We have got a very, very quick looking Perez behind us.
1 second.
Thought about the switchback. Latifi? Nicholas Latifi sets the fastest lap of the race. And hell just froze over. We've come back at Perez into the braking zone.
Great manoeuvre, you made it look so easy.
And these tyres feel like more up to temp now. So into lap 13, Lando Norris doing an excellent job in that McLaren. He's keeping pace with Max Verstappen in that Red Bull. Verstappen trying to drop him, but that McLaren hanging on really, really well at this stage. It looks like he's going to have a well-deserved podium if he can keep this going till the end.
We've got a lot of spare energy. Okay to use your overtake button.
Charles Leclerc then, rounding the last few turns. He's got a decent lead on Verstappen now. And he's been in control of this race pretty much for the whole duration. And Charles Leclerc rounding the last turn. And he will win the Singapore Grand Prix and take his third win of the season for Ferrari.
Oh, amazing.
Charles Leclerc, fantastic drive.
Well done, guys.
And he will close up
what a race,
on Max
what a
Verstappen
pace.
in the Drivers' Championship. We did it. Sixth place with half a lap of negative fuel. So we're on low fuel saving mode for half of that last lap. Still managed to get the sixth place
They've endured the harsh conditions
in front of Perez.
to pull off a spectacular
Whew.
win.
And a podium for Lando Norris.
Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves
So
apart?
Charles Leclerc
I'd say it was down
wins
once again
for
to good,
Ferrari.
Consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions, and perfecting the team strategies. They got all those things right today, and the results speak for themselves.
That's only his third win of the season.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
They have been super consistent this season, and that's what's put Charles Leclerc towards the top of the Drivers' Championship. He managed the pace well today at the front, it seemed, in front of Max Verstappen, who has been on great form these last couple of races. He's had to halt the charge and get Ferrari back in the box seat. Okay, so Charles Leclerc wins the Singapore Grand Prix from Max Verstappen. He also takes the fastest lap for the extra point. Lando Norris with a podium for McLaren. Excellent result for them. Lewis Hamilton started on pole, dropped to 4th. Not the best weekend for him. Good Saturday, not as good Sunday. Carlos Sainz 5th in the Ferrari. He loses ground and points on Max Verstappen at the top of the championship. They were level on points going in. We come home 6th after starting 7th. And that is a fantastic result, to be honest. I thought we were going to struggle a lot more. Fortunately, it dried out, so that pit stop and getting in front of Perez and then retaking Perez on cold tyres was what was important for us in getting that 6th place. Perez could not repass us once the tyres were up to temperatures, and we managed to gap back to him and making sure he didn't get the DRS. George Russell lost out massively in the pit stops, getting stacked behind Hamilton, and ended up, well, stuck behind Perez. Alonso, ever present in the top 10, and this is his last season, as we've had it confirmed that he will be retiring at the end of this season. Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren rounding out the points. Mick Schumacher just outside the points, so unlucky for him. Albon doing pretty decently in the Williams. Ocon not matching his teammate again, so Alpine are losing the wrong driver apparently. Kevin Magnussen 14th, so outperformed by Mick Schumacher again. Mick Schumacher having a good second half of the season. Bottas outperforming Zhou, so that's kind of Zhou's had a good couple of races, so that's halted that, and Bottas outperforming the more experienced Bottas outperforming Zhou once again. Gasly, he has not really been at the top of his game. Bit of a strange one. I'd be interested to see how they go in the next race, and see if it's just a blip this, or if they're going to be back up towards the top 10, top 12. Vettel brings the Aston Martin home in front of Lance Stroll, and Stroll with the slightly quicker lap time there. Nicholas Latifi down the back, and Oscar Piastri just behind him. So Max Verstappen leads the Drivers' Championship by 3 points from Charles Leclerc, with Sainz 8 points behind. Perez has dropped off the pace and now 37 points behind Max Verstappen. So it looks like it's a three-way fight for the championship now rather than four. But as we know, with one race, if Perez wins the next round and the other three guys have a lower finish, he could be right back in it. So it's anybody's championship really at this point. We are 8th and closing in on George Russell now, so that's actually very interesting that we could possibly be in touch of 6th place in the championship, which absolutely crazy. Never would have thought that at the start of the season. And 5th place for us in the constructors. Red Bull closing in on Ferrari a little bit, 26 points the gap now. Mercedes very clearly in 3rd, McLaren very clearly in 4th, and we very clearly in 5th, but still trying to catch McLaren, pulling away from Alpine. So that'll about wrap it up for this Singapore Grand Prix. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already for more JDM racing action, and as always, stay tuned for more F1 action, wrestling action, whatever it is that you subscribe for. But yeah, either way, we're going to keep this train going, closing in on the end of the season now, and see if we can get JDM racing ahead of McLaren into the, what will be season 2. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.